Hello, Crazy for Coconut family. Today is Friday, June 16th, and I have been hiking for the last 2.5 hours. Kind of a happy little mistake. I just started walking on the bike trails, and I still haven't made it back to the entrance, but I'm just figuring that eventually I'll get there, which kind of segues me into the energy of this weekend. Yesterday we all survived Mercury square the sun, and I posted about my Mercury square the sun day and moment, and I will never forget that transit. Anyway, moving on, we are going to, in the next 24 hours, see Saturn stop and go retrograde. So that's a big thing. That's a big moment. Whenever a planet goes retrograde, it's big. But we haven't seen Saturn retrograde, I believe, for a couple of years, if I'm not correct. I can't remember exactly how often Saturn retrogrades, but it's not as often as the personal planets. It's an outer planet, but I'll let you know tomorrow in Saturn going retrograde at 10:37. So what does that mean? So when any planet goes retrograde, or I call it pretty much, it looks from the Earth's point of view, it's going backwards, but it's basically stopped. So if you take a screenshot of your life at this moment and allow yourself to simply reflect on the last 5 or 6 months, well, I would say since March, when Saturn transited. The last Saturn transit, big one, was when Saturn, it was either February or March, transited from Aquarius into Pisces, which was a huge moment. Very different energy, Aquarius and Pisces. Pisces is the spiritual realm. I mean, everything's interconnected, as everything in life is interconnected, but Saturn is about rules and restrictions, and I always think of Saturn as like the businessman, like Capricorn world, our ability to work and get things done. So with Saturn in Pisces, which is the spiritual realm, it's going to bring up a lot of more spiritual energy and reflection on our spiritual path, our mission, etc. So, however, the sun is in Mercury, and sun is in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So with this mercurial energy of the sun and the mind, we can go into some delusion, overthinking, worst case scenario, anything that's far out there that actually isn't true. It brings up delusions of everything going bad and things that are far out there. So with that being said, what I would suggest is to just learn how to sit with yourself and meet yourself in every moment with compassion and love, and reflect, and don't overthink where things are going, or things aren't going to turn out well and they're all going south. Try to shut your mind off for at least 3 days, because it's going to be pretty intense energy. Our mind wants to know what's next, and we want to figure things out, but it's not going to happen with Saturn stopping. It gives us that time to digest and rest and reflect and over what's happened since February, and to sit with ourselves and not judge our thoughts and not think that it's all going to go south because we don't have it all figured out. So, yeah, and it's not a time to push or control or project on others. Mars and Venus are both in Leo, and Mars and Mercury are the only planets that are actually moving. So that can bring up the mind with the Mars energy, which is fire and volatility, and I need to get it done now. And it's the domineering energy. So don't let your mind go into that negativity, that frustration, and that anger. Enjoy this moment of reflection. How many times do we get moments where we can just sit and rest and meet ourselves where we're at and start by stopping and allow, the universe is allowing us this time to reflect on the last 3 or 4 months where things have just changed dramatically in our lives, and we need some time to just catch up, to just breathe. And we see in our society when we can't have that forward momentum how we want it, and it's all working out the way we need it to work out. So I would suggest, like today, I could have set myself up and said, I need to be back home in 2 hours because I got to get this done and I got to get that done. But I just said, you know what? Surrender and let go to the happy little mistake. How many people get to have that time to just that 2 hours, or whenever I get home, allow that to be enough. And look I made it out. Made it out of the woods. I wasn't afraid. So yeah, the stuff, if you're trying to push things on the 3D timeline, things have to, I have to make it here. I have to go here. Things have to look at that in your basing your life all on our time system. You're going to be very frustrated. So my suggestion to you is to allow that extra time for happy little mistakes, like today, for example, on my walk, and a walk that I had in my mind it would be about an hour and a half, 2 hours, has turned into 2.5 hours. Is that a big deal? No, I made it out. I look at the positive. I didn't get mauled by a grizzly. I made it out by sunset. I wasn't in the dark. I had mosquito spray. I prepared so the mosquitoes weren't attacking me, and I had some gratitude in the moment. Like, wow, how lucky am I to be in such a beautiful town, on trails that are walking distance from my house. And when I have moments of frustration or challenge, I can just simply go out my door and walk in nature and get back into a balanced state. So anyway, just with the Saturn energy, it's going to be Pisces, spiritual stuff and reflection. And it's whenever anything's in Pisces, it's messy. It doesn't go like you want it to go, especially in the mind. If you have expectations of how things are going to look and you get frustrated when things don't go your way, this is going to be pretty difficult. So practice letting go and surrendering and to the journey, to the mystery of the journey, staying in the present moment of the blessings that you have in your life at the moment. This is a great time to just be compassionate to others. This is a real spiritual test of just not taking anything personal with anybody. We're all navigating this most extraordinary time of all our lives. And we all have our own unique paths that we chose. And we just need to show up at the best of our ability and with love and compassion for others and their challenges, because we can never be in another person's shoes. And so, yeah, if somebody triggers you or says something, bite your tongue. Don't take it personal. Usually when we react to somebody, what we see in another is kind of what we're not addressing in ourselves. So use it as a moment of learning and a moment of patience. How patient can you be with others? Think about those of you that have children and you've had those 2-year-old temper tantrums and you look at it and you look at your kids and you say, they're only 2 years old. They don't have the experience. What can I do to make this better? Random acts of kindness would be a great thing at this time. Give somebody a hug, give somebody a phone call, tell them it's, I'm here for you. But most importantly, have compassion for yourself, self-love. This isn't a time to push. This is a time to meet yourself where you're at. And even in these moments, there's going to be tough moments throughout the day. And baby steps forward is the best remedy. Don't have too many expectations on where your life needs to be. And if it's not here, I'm going to fall apart. This is going to be a lot of people, a lot of mental health stuff is going to surface with this mercurial energy and this Saturn stopped, and Mars and Venus and Leo. Our heart wants what it wants. We want to feel good. We want to have things figured out, but we simply don't. So embrace the mystery of the unfolding of your beautiful life. And a lot of times when I can't get out of my mind stuff and, telling myself I'm not enough or things aren't going to work out or, because catastrophe type of thinking, I start to just think of things, people, places, or things that I have gratitude for. And that always seems to flip the switch and get me out of my negativity or going down the rabbit hole of the abyss or feeling sorry for myself or whatever negative, low vibration emotions come up. So anyway, I want to give you a little peek of where I'm at. The mosquitoes, because of all the rain, they're joining me for every rock. I have friends, and they haven't actually been bad. I brought some mosquito repellent that I had bought in Roatan that's all natural, and that seems to be keeping them at bay. But yeah, I could let those little things just be triggering. That's ruined my walk. I can't go outside. No, you just pivot. You pivot to the best of your ability, and you learn to laugh at yourself in these moments and just realize how incredibly lucky you are to just be alive and be breathing and have the simple miracles in your life that you have, and you know what those are for you. So I love you all, and live, love, be. And tomorrow I work, so I'm going to get a good night's sleep and embrace this new chapter of Saturn going retrograde and give myself the time to reflect and on my life and allow that to be enough and meet myself with love, compassion, non-judgment, and grace, and allow things to be how they are at this moment without my need to control anything. So happy Friday, be safe, live, love, be. Ciao.